year is 1968. The world is a chessboard, and the pieces are steel and fire. On one side, the U.S. Navy relying on a workhorse fleet that is beginning to show its age. On the other, the Soviet Union, with a new generation of supersonic bombers and cruise missiles designed to sink American carrier groups before they could even get close. This was the moment of crisis. This was the moment a legend was born. Not from a clean sheet design, but from a desperate need, a political battle, and a single-minded determination to build the greatest fighter the world had ever seen. To understand the F-14, you must first understand the F-111B. Driven by Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara's cost-saving concept of commonality, the Air Force and Navy were forced to develop a single aircraft for two wildly different missions. For the Navy, the F-111B was a compromise that no one wanted. It was a lumbering behemoth, too heavy and too complex for the precise, high-stakes environment of a carrier deck. Naval aviators testified on Capitol Hill, famously stating, "There is not enough thrust to get the thing out of the ocean." The project was a failure, and its cancellation in 1968 opened the door for a company that had been quietly working on a solution all along: Grumman. Grumman's project. 303 of the VFX was a high-stakes gamble. The company, facing financial hardship, bet its future on this one project. The design, spearheaded by chief designers like Bob Kress and his team, was a masterpiece of compromise and innovation. It retained the best feature of the F-111, the variable sweep wing, but put it on an airframe that was purpose-built for air superiority. On December 21, 1970, with test pilots Robert Smythe and William Miller in the cockpit, the first F-14 took to the sky from the Calverton facility. Just 9 days later, the second prototype was lost to a catastrophic double hydraulic failure. It was a chilling reminder of the dangers of test flying, but the program pushed forward. In the end, it was Grumman's relentless pursuit of perfection that brought the Tomcat from the drawing board to the flight line. The F-14 was unique because it was not a one-man show. It was a two-man symphony. The pilot in the front seat was the master of the airframe, responsible for flight control and close-in combat. But the true genius of the system was the radar intercept officer, or REO, in the back. He was the navigator, the weapons officer, and the tactical brain of the team. Their communication, their crew coordination, was a language all its own, a constant rapid-fire stream of information and commands that turned a complex machine into a single, cohesive fighting unit. The REO's eyes were on the radar, the data links, and the tactical picture, freeing the pilot to focus solely on the fight. This partnership was the key to the Tomcat's devastating effectiveness. The crown jewel of the F-14 was the Hughes AWG-9 radar. This wasn't just a sensor, it was a fire control system. It had a staggering range, well over 100 nautical miles, and a revolutionary track-while scan mode that could track up to 24 targets simultaneously. For the first time, a fighter crew could manage the entire battlefield from a single cockpit. The REO could sift through a cloud of hostile aircraft, identify the highest threats, and set up a long-range engagement without the pilot even knowing what the targets were. It was a system built for a singular purpose: to defeat the Soviet bomber threat before it could even get to the carrier. The AWG-9's power was unlocked by the missile it was designed to carry, the AIM-54 Phoenix. With a range of over 100 miles, the Phoenix was unlike any other air-to-air missile in history. It was a Fox 3 from the very start, an active radar missile that could be launched and forgotten. The F-14 system could guide up to 6 Phoenix missiles simultaneously to 6 different targets. A capability that no other fighter in the world possessed. It was a carrier defense weapon designed to create a 100-mile protective bubble around the fleet. A single Tomcat squadron could turn an incoming regiment of Soviet bombers into nothing more than a historical footnote. The F-14's service life was defined by the Cold War. Day in and day out, Tomcats were the silent sentinels of the fleet, their crews on constant alert. Their most common mission, intercepting Soviet reconnaissance and bomber aircraft that probed U.S. airspace. These were not combat missions, but tense, high-stakes standoffs in which the Tomcat's presence alone was a statement of power. The pilots and RAOs would escort the Soviet aircraft, sometimes for hours. A chilling game of cat and mouse played out on the global stage. While its primary role was as a deterrent, the Tomcat's first taste of combat was over the Gulf of Sidra. On August 19, 1981, 2 F-14s from VF-41 were vectored to intercept 2 Libyan Su-22s. The radio call Fox 2 from the RAO was a chilling first. The Libyan aircraft fired first, but the Tomcats, with their superior maneuverability, evaded and returned fire, shooting down both aircraft. This was not a test. It was a real-world validation of the Tomcat's air-to-air superiority. 8 years later, the same scene played out again, proving that the Tomcat was not just a deterrent, but a king in a dogfight. As the Cold War waned, the F-14 had to adapt or die. The costly single-mission fleet defender was no longer a priority. The Navy demanded a multi-role capability. With the integration of the Lantern targeting pod, the Tomcat was transformed into a precision ground attack aircraft. The venerable fighter became the Bombcat, capable of delivering laser-guided munitions with pinpoint accuracy. During Operation Desert Storm, F-14s flew not only combat air patrol, but also crucial strike and reconnaissance missions, proving that the old cat could learn new tricks. There is another chapter to the F-14 story. In a bizarre twist of fate, Iran was the only other country to ever operate the F-14. When the U.S. embargoed Iran after the 1979 revolution, the fleet was grounded, but the Iranians, through a combination of ingenuity, smuggling, and reverse engineering, kept a portion of their Tomcats flying. These jets, often called the Persian Cats, went on to become the undisputed champions of the Iran-Iraq War, scoring numerous air-to-air kills and proving the F-14's effectiveness in a prolonged conflict. The fact that the Iranian Air Force was able to maintain and operate such a complex American aircraft for decades is a testament to the F-14's incredible design. In 1986, the world saw the F-14 not as a military asset, but as a cultural phenomenon. The film Top Gun captured the hearts and minds of a generation. With its breathtaking aerial photography and high-octane action, it made the F-14 the most famous fighter jet in the world. It was a Hollywood creation, but one that was built on the grit and reality of naval aviation. Real pilots and RIOs like Viper and Ferg, served as advisors to ensure the film's authenticity. But by the early 2000s, time had caught up to the Tomcat. Its maintenance hours were astronomical, and the Navy was shifting to the more cost-effective F-18 Super Hornet. The decision was made to retire the F-14. On September 22, 2006, the last F-14 flew off the deck of the USS Theodore Roosevelt, a final, poignant salute to a legend. The F-14 was more than just a plane. It was a symbol of an era, a marvel of engineering, and a testament to the courage of the men and women who flew and maintained it. Its roar may be gone, but its legend is immortal.